Hi everyone, welcome to Blackhat ACR 2024. Today I will be talking about monitoring and detecting leaks with GitAlerts. My name is Nikhil. I'm working as a prime principal security engineer at ChargeBee, currently engaged in securing stuff at scale that includes architecture reviews, driving DevSecOps, and working towards eliminating vulnerability classes. So before assuming my current role, I was deeply immersed in client-side security research, and I had a privilege to share some of my work in various hacker conferences like POC 2020, 36C3, and PS Days 9. So let's understand why Git alerts and what problem does it solve. As most of the organization today uses GitHub to host and manage their source code as well as the CI/CD pipelines via the GitHub Actions, ensuring an efficient software delivery, and hence they put significant efforts to safeguard organizational repositories for various security vulnerabilities and routinely scan for sensitive information, ensuring thorough checks are being carried out before the service goes to the production and after the production as well. However, an aspect that is often overlooked is monitoring the public activities of their organization users. So let us understand this with a simple diagram. In this particular diagram, we have two type of repositories. The one type one, which is the organizational repositories, which is in green, and the type two, which is the users org users repositories to be precise, which is in red. So GitHub repositories created under any organizations can be controlled by the GitHub administrators, which means anything which is on green can be controlled by the administrator. However, any repositories which is created under the organization's user account is not controllable unless the organization has adopted the GitHub Enterprise Managed Users, also known as GitHub EMU model. So in most of the cases, if you are not on GitHub EMU, you would not be able to take a much control on organization users repository. So basically, the ones which are in red has to be taken care of. So what happens is mostly developers or mostly developers within the organizations, they frequently experiment and test ideas in public settings, like while learning and testing some codes in public repositories, or let's say while creating and testing some real like dummy applications in public setting, etc. So this process sometimes may include any sensitive code or hard-coded credentials or any secrets, internal URLs, or maybe some proprietary information. Uh, so this oversight can lead to a significant security risk, making it crucial for the organizations to monitor such activities to prevent potential data breaches. And hence, like few studies on data breaches reveals a startling trend that is that leakage of the secrets and sensitive information is often occurring from the individual repositories, not from the organizational repositories. And hence, it is pretty much important to monitor the organizational users, public repositories as well. And that's where Git Alerts fits in, and it helps you to detect and monitor those repositories for sensitive information and the secrets. So let's get to the demo. So this is the GitHub page for Git Alerts, which says what problems does it solve and some of the examples that we have studied previously. So let's get started. Let's talk about the installation. So you can install Git Alerts in a couple of ways. You can just you can either directly use the official binary for your operating system, or if you are using Homebrew, you can just use brew type installs to use Git Alerts, or you can just build it from source as well. So whatever ways you prefer, you can install GitAlerts. And then one of the prerequisites to install to make GitAlerts work is you have to configure a GitHub personal access token, which you can export as a part of the environment variable. And this pet essentially requires some of the permissions to be set. So ensure whenever you are creating the new personal access token, ensure you create in your organization users GitHub account, and please ensure that it has all the sufficient permissions to list available users. What are they and why it is required? I will walk you through in a moment. And then assign all the repo level permissions under the scope section. This will be there once you create your personal classic personal access token under the GitHub. So let's go back to our installation and let's understand with an example. So when it comes to users, GitAlerts has mostly three commands which are there. So to understand, let's take an example of a GitHub organization. So for the simplicity, let's take boring tools as the target organization, as this is one of the open source organizations which has two peoples. So when you create the path, ensure that you have access to list down all the users. So the Git alerts will take all those users and then it will find all the public repositories and data and secrets belonging to these two users. And this is essentially can be used if you are a bug bounty hunter. So let's say some of the organizations they by default list their users or some users, not all. So if you are a bug bounty hunter, you can just use your own pet, and then it is also a good uh, it is also a good thing to scan some of the organization which even you do not belongs to get some quick bounties. Okay, so we have an organization called as boring tools, which has two users, and then let's go back to the terminal and see how does Git alert works. So let me open the terminal. So once you install and set up Git alerts, you can just type git hyphen alerts to interact with the CLI. And as I said, it has mostly three commands. First one is scan, monitor, and detect. So what a scan does is, in our example case, it will scan all the public repositories belonging to the boring tool users, and generate it will generate a report, and by default it will save them into the temp folder. You can also specify your path if you want to. So after you configure your pet, let's see how this can work. So I just need to type command git alerts and then which subcommand I want to run, which is a scan, and then I have to provide a flag called as hyphen hyphen org and the org name, which is boring tools. And that's it. And then we need to hit enter. So the scan will start. And as you see, the scan is completed and the report is saved under this location. So this has figured out that it has only two users, which is true, and both of the users have around 50 repositories. So let's just take a look on the report. How does it look? So you see this Git Alerts created a report along with some of the details that you can check and verify uh, later on. So this will essentially give you a one-time list of public repositories which belongs to this particular organization. So, uh, but uh, but if you just do not want to monitor, if you just do not want to scan all the repositories, but you want to monitor new repositories as well. For instance, let's say in this particular example, let's say whenever this user Nikhil Mittal creates a new repository, I should be get alerted as I'm monitoring the boring tools organizations so that I can check whether that particular repository is leaking any proprietary information, any hard-coded secrets, or any of the sensitive data in that matter. So for that, what we can do is we can just simply run the second command, which is the monitor. So let's go back to the terminal, and instead of scan, this time I'm saying monitor. And once I run this command, you see it says no public repositories detected, because in the previous scan also we had around 50 repositories, and for this scan also it is same. So no public repositories. So let me do one thing. Let me intentionally create a public repository in my account, and let's see whether it detects it or not. So let me just create a new repositories, call as BH Asia 2024. Let me hit and create a new repository. So a new repository is created, and let's run the scan again. So this time you see that the total number of repositories are 51, and it detected a one more, it detected a new public repositories, which is this one. And that's what we have created. So for this, for this monitor command, as it detected new repositories, it can also be integrated with Slack to send you the notification every time a user made a repository public. So let's see how we can do that. And it will be useful when you run the monitor command and you have integrated with Slack. So every time it is very easy and convenient to monitor all the alerts on Slack instead of some other ways. So let me just create another repository. So previously we have created this 2024. Let me create another one with 02. But this time we will use the Slack alert option, which is a flag you can set along with the monitor command. And ensure before you use this Slack alert option, ensure you have configured the Slack webhook URL as an environment variable. So GitAlerts uses Slack webhook to send uh, the notifications under a particular Slack channel. So once you do that, let me hit an enter and see. So as a result, you see this time we have 52 repositories and one more increased. So this is the one which we have last created, and then it says Slack notification successfully sent. So let me just go back to our Slack channel, and if you see that it sends an alert which says new public repository detected, and this is the repository link. So the engineers can further investigate and see what does this repository contain, and just check for any proprietary information or sensitive information or any hard-coded secrets being passed to this particular repository. So yeah, after the monitor command, we have one more command called as detect. So the detect command not only scans all the repositories, but it will detect if they are leaking any hard-coded secrets. So GitAlerts internally uses trufflog only verified option to scan all the secrets which are present in the repositories. So we can utilize that as well. So for the detect command, we can just type git hyphen alerts, and then the command name. We have to pass the organization name as we have done before, and then hit enter. So it will scan all the repositories, and then it will run the secret scan. So if there is any secrets which are detected, it will show here. And since it uses the trufflog's only verified options, so whatever the secrets which has been which will be listed here are the verified ones by Preflog, which means they are live, and then you can simply go test and then report it accordingly.